God, it's so perfect.
Okay, so it's the next Friday. We're working on the motor some more.
We pulled a little overtime on Monday.
Yep. Put the volley pan on with nice RTV. And D. Frank, why is the pan being taken off?
Because we were storing some timing components in here. And
that's where I keep all my timing components, is inside the volley pan.
Well, and after cleanup, I realized I was one Woodruff key short of where I should be, and I'm paranoid now.
Is that kind of like being a day short and a day? What the hell is the saying?
Day late and a dollar.
A day late, a dollar short, and
so I did such a good job.
6-pack.
Did such a good job gluing this down, and it's coming up.
That RTV is really holding well. It says something for RTV. It works like a hot damn.
Now I'm destroying my new gasket because I think, which I know it's not in here, but
well, you can peel it up now and just use a flashlight.
It is not in here, and I also realized that we also could have just.
Yeah, but if it was sitting like back here, you wouldn't be able to see it.
I'm mad about having to do this, but I at least feel.
Yeah.
Here. So now.
Okay, let's RTV that back on there.
Can I? Well, the parts that are still stuck, can I just glue underneath?
I don't know. It's
There's not really any pressure here. It's nice.
Really, yeah, not really. I mean, I would do what you feel is best. You're the expert. I'm just a. I'm just a parts changer.
You get paid for your brains. Hey, is this our first V8?
What do you mean?
Is this our first V8 job?
No, Caddy 2 was our first V8 job.
No, this is actually real.
Not just take it apart, realize it was actually rebuilt, and then put it back together.
We were young.
We all make mistakes, I guess.
Our mind was an open book. All right. So now I'm going to put
more RTV. I would clear all that extra crap off.
Oh wow! It's like I get a reset. It's like a mulligan.
Oh what?
You don't know that?
What's a mulligan?
It's a golfing.
Don't drop that inside the motor, for Christ's sake.
It's a golfing term.
You go inside for a Woodruff key and you end up dropping RTV inside the intake.
Distributor gear will chew it up. A mulligan is a golfing term, and as far as I know, it's like a do-over shot. But you lose a lot of points if you decide to pull a mulligan. But if you have some ridiculously bad shot that lands you in a lake or something, you could redo it.
Yep.
A real golfer, though, just plays through. Meaning wherever it lands.
It lands. Oh, and our chef here has brought some brownies. I think I'm gonna have to poison test these. Thank you very much.
Quality control. They're really fucking good.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, they're definitely good.
I already quality controlled about 3 of them. So.
Okay, so we're just trying to
rotate
the cam a little bit so it aligns up properly. And this is the factory Ford alignment tool here. You want the keyway vertically?
Yeah, let's try that. Can I get just give me a little skim coat of oil, just help this thing slide on there. It sticks out so much. This, I believe, is close.
Alright, well, D. Frank's working on his motor. I'm working on my motor here, making an exhaust flange for it. I think it originally was made to just accept a NPT flange, but I don't feel like buying one, and the larger pipe thread fittings are pretty expensive. So I'm going to make my own flanged exhaust pipe, and I'll show you what I'm doing. So the first step, I'm going to make a flange to fit on here and drill a hole through it and weld a pipe on it. Here's the plate I'm laying it out on. It's I don't know, 3/8, maybe 5/16 plate, something like that. Just took a bunch of careful measurements, laid it all out, found my center, and worked outwards and did some quick math over here, as you can see. And it's ready for some more center punching. And I'll start out by drilling the center hole. Here's the exhaust pipe. This is a 3-inch black iron pipe. And I'll use a 3-inch hole saw, drill a hole through the middle, and then I'll drill the 4 holes out here, 5/8 holes for the flange bolts.
Okay, so we are RTVing the timing
housing
cover there.
Yep.
We got the chain lubricated and oiled, all lined up, triple checked to make sure it's good. tight, all ready to go.
Yep. Oh, do you want to talk about the arrangement here a little bit?
Oh, sure. You have the gear, and then you have a keyed spacer. Then you have this eccentric, and then you have another spacer.
That's and the spacer in here is a much thicker one. See if I can. Yeah, you see that's thicker. That's maybe 3/16 of an inch thicker or so.
And then there's a real thick washer. Now, when we put it together, we were a little confused because the diagram Ford gives you is missing.
Do you have the diagram I can show everybody?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
missing.
it's missing parts.
It's missing the piece, the thing that holds the cam in, and also.
Yeah, because it shows you the bolt, the thick washer, the extra thick spacer, and the eccentric, but it doesn't show you the washer that goes behind it up against the face of the camshaft sprocket. On the other thing, this little thrust washer here, on the ID on one side.
Very good. I forgot about that.
Yeah, on the ID on one side of this thrust washer, there's a chamfer. And on the other side is just square, and we were racking our brains trying to figure out.
Chamfer?
It's a
That's a beveled edge to folks like you and me.
Or a champagne or a chamfer, yeah. It depends what country you come from. But anyway, we were racking our brains trying to figure out which way it went, and we eventually figured out on the camshaft itself, when the shaft widened out to the first part of the bearing journal that it rides in, it had a nice radiused corner, and that thrust washer had to have the beveled edge go up against the radiused corner for clearance, because if you put the square edge up, it wouldn't clear.
That Ford would explain some of these problems, like if your fit isn't right when you tighten the bolt, but they just leave so much up to,
Well, you're just supposed to guess.
And this is the Ford car shop manual.
Original.
From the Ford division of Ford Motor Company.
Right on.
So this is getting ready to come on, so I'm going to ask while I hold it up if you will kindly start a couple of the bolts for me. So that's
okay, now let's send her in there. Let's see, I think this bolt, that is not, okay, this bolt will go in there. Ready for insertion.
Yep, go ahead. Should be pretty damn close.
Okay, so I got this all set up on the drill press. Got it clamped down. I decided to clamp it to the table of the press rather than just holding it on top of a block of wood. Oh, by the way, I do have some wood under there so I don't drill into the table. But I decided to clamp it instead of just holding it with some vice grips. It'll just be more rigid that way. It'll drill easier. But I just lined it up with the center punch hole there, as you can see. And you can see the drill point goes right into the center punch mark there. And then coming from the other direction, it also lines right up with the hole. Okay, we're spinning.
You want me to film something for you?
No, I got a tripod.
Yeah.
Now this is at the lowest speed, unfortunately. It's still 500 RPM, which I think is way too fast, but you gotta piss with the cock that you got. I'm just impressed with the quality of this primer paint here. Seeing as the air gun blew off the primer.
And I followed the directions, exactly how long it said to let it cure for. I brake cleaned it, acetoned it, completely degreased it, and when I was blowing off the dust from it sitting in the shop for a week,
off it came.
So
well, it was just going to rust and crack off anyway, because this shit never works. Exhaust paint. It looks great when you put the motor together, but beyond that,
well, I figured for the couple thousands of dollars I put into the motor,
you might as well put $5 worth of paint into it. Okay, look at that nice gooped up oil pan.
Yep.
Got some nice red RTV.
we found
Got
the
gasket.
nut, the 7/8 16 threads per inch nut.
Yep, mongrel thread.
GM restoration site.
Yep.
Because everybody knows
GM parts are standard even for Fords.
So
Come on, D. Frank, you're losing it there.
You gotta get it all together as...
Now, don't you need another the nut on here for that?
Yes, I'm getting there.
Oh, you gotta slide that on there.
You gotta slide the little ring. Oh, actually, no. You put this on first, then you put the little ring.
Yep.
Then...
align it in the oil pump. Gracefully pivot down the oil pan, get some RTV on your fingers, and you're all set.
But you have to take it apart again if you forget to put that special...
Oh, Jesus. You're talking, but where's the nut? Just slide that on in there. Make sure to cross the threads so they lock real well. Got the little... Wait, no, oh, what are you forgetting?
It's on there.
Oh, the rubber thing?
Yep.
Oh.
You could put it on before, or as long as you make sure that you got it in the rubber thing.
Yep. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Man, all that sitting down is make me want to sit down.
About 25 bolts later and you'll have it all cinched down.
And then you have to wait for the...
As our friend AVE might say, we have to wait for the silicone carne to chooch.
Is he a follower of yours?
I doubt it.
Are you a follower of his?
Oh, of course. I think a lot of my subscribers subscribe to him as well.
What do you say that article was written in Canadian?
Oh yeah, it was written in Canadian. It has to be translated to normal English.
But he didn't say Canadian, didn't you?
Canuckstanian?
Yeah, something like something along those lines. Man, these first...
And the dog gets attacked by the cougar. Not the cougar that you wait at night in the bars for, but, you know, the cat kind of cougar.
That girl he showed a picture of. Oh, was that ugly. The cougar.
Holy oh, fuck. Yeah, that's a cougar for you.
That's what Joe Boy would call a high miler.
Oh,
we were walking in AutoZone.
I'm sure she was a very nice lady.
There was some old broad walking in, and Joey goes, "How are you there, cutie?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm so old. Don't even say I'm good looking." So she walks in, and me and Joe Boy walk out, and he goes, "Oh, so what's the matter?" He goes, "That's what you call a high miler." Then we're going to get fuel yesterday, and some real old lady, I mean, she was like ancient, real short thing, was walking to the door, and she pulled her Crown Vic right up.
Oh, Crown Vic, that's classic.
Big old one, right up near the door, and Joe Boy...
Well, hey, you do that too. You pull it right up to the door. You don't like walking as much as anybody else.
Oh, and Joe Boy does also.
Oh, of course,
but he goes, "Come on!" He goes, "Come on, young lady, I'll get the door for you." And he sits there and waits, and he goes, "Oh, man," he tells the guy inside, he goes, "You see how close she is to the pole?" And he said, "Oh, she comes in every day, and most of the time she hits the pole." So we go outside, and sure enough, it was a white car. It's all red scrapes from the red post.
Wow.
Because she pulls up.
And just parks by feel, you might say.
She plays lotto, win for life, which is funny.
It's going to be, short.
I mean.
I mean.
Now, why won't this move over?
Alright, now over here I finally got this cut through. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. This is another day. My buddy and I, we really didn't get too much headway this past Friday because I screwed up my hole saw, and then he needed some gaskets that he didn't have. So anyway, this is a couple days later. I finally got this thing cut through, and holy shit, this is some sort of tough steel. I don't know what it is, but it made quite a racket cutting through, and my drill press wasn't too happy about it. But so I got that cut out. I got the holes pilot drilled, and I'm gonna through drill them to the final size of 5/8 of an inch, and that should align right up to the exhaust flange on the cylinder. And then I have a line, can't quite see it on the camera I don't think, of the outside that I'm going to cut. I'm just going to cut it with an angle grinder over a size. I'll clean up the inside of this hole a little bit, and I will bring this flange to the farm. I'll use the lathe there, and I'll turn the OD nice and round and smooth. man, you are still tightening these bolts. What is the deal?
Well, I have to take the oil pan off again. Because it was hitting the oil pump just like a tiny little bit. So what I did is I took the 4.5-inch angle grinder with a cutting wheel on it.
Oh, well, you have to use the cutting wheel.
Shaved the side of the oil pump down just a little bit, and then
I can see that.
Slightly persuaded the pan over a little, and it lines up just perfect. So
you'd think that a pan that used to go on the motor and
the exact
same pump, you think they would just fit. But I guess Ford designed it with a zero clearance, zero tolerance sort of deal in mind. Yeah.
Now I get bonus points for using a cutting wheel to shave a surface.
Well, you have to use a cutting wheel if you're doing grinding. Right. And if you got to cut something, you're really better off using a grinding wheel.
Oh, it works great.
Yep. Well, it is coming together. One of the last components going on the motor. Starting to look like a real V8 again.
Well, the last component is the car. The car has to go on.
And the exhaust manifold, the carburetor, valve covers,
all that.
Water pump. I will say I love these washer things.
Yeah, they clamp it down like.
Just like on the exhaust. I think it has that on the exhaust manifold too, doesn't it? These little clamp washers.
I don't believe so.
Oh, well, in my case it does, and I love it because the heat from the exhaust doesn't ruin the stud. It just I mean, it might corrode this big washer thing.
I thought you were going to come out with some statement.
No,
you hate them.
No, it's really good because you try to loosen any other exhaust manifold where the bolts are just going through the manifold and they're all rotten all to hell. You're never going to get them off.
I love when they snap. Don't you just love that?
Right in the block. Yeah, perfect. Flush, yep.
So, well, everyone knows when America needs a better idea, Ford
delivers.
Well, they had a few different variations of a better idea.
Yep.
And then they had another campaign slogan for a while: Ford, built by people who love to make cars.
I think one of the best is Ford, drive one. Or wait, was that? Yeah, that was a Ford slogan, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, it was. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. There was a better idea.
Oh, built for fuel economy.
Yes, in the 80s. The Ford trucks, it would say Ford, and instead of saying built for tough, it said built for fuel economy.
Because that's what I look for in a pickup truck.
And as we know,
Fords
not
are thirsty. Yeah.
And then what about this project going on here?
What's this project here? What's Amber working on?
What is that?
Well, she's not done yet. She doesn't want to show you. Now over here, back to my flange, I definitely think this is some super duper heavy duty steel of some sort. I couldn't even cut this. Well, I could cut it, but with a lot of difficulty with the angle grinder. So I'm just going to torch cut this out. But I'm going to show you a little trick. I obviously don't want to cut too close to the line, and also it's hard to see the line when you're cutting with a torch, whether you draw it with a Sharpie or a chalk marker or whatever. So I just make a whole series of punch marks along the area I want to cut, and those punch marks don't go away until you go over it with the torch. So I'll torch this out, grind the slag off so it doesn't destroy my cutting tool, chuck this up in the lathe and turn it nice and clean. So the next flanges I'm going to make are for the exhaust pipe itself, and I made a little cardboard mock-up here just so I can get a visual idea of what the size of the flange would look like. And I have it sized so I can have a 1/2-inch nut centered in it, and the nut won't hang off the edge and it won't interfere with the pipe. This is a 3-inch NPT iron pipe, by the way, so it's about 3.5 inches outside diameter as a 1-inch flange, and I think that'll look just fine. So I'm going to make a couple of these so I can have a straight section, I can have an elbow, and bolt them together with the flange, and I think that'll look pretty cool, and I won't have to buy expensive 3-inch threaded pipe fittings. I'm doing a little tinkering with my early 1900s or potentially late 1800s Glenwood Model K coal-fired cook stove. I'm just working on getting it all loosened up. Pretty much the only moving part on it is this shaker grate assembly here. Unfortunately, as I was loosening up this part here, it just disassembled itself, so I'll see if I can get a replacement. Here's a little look at the shaker assembly. There's a little triangular drive there that you put a little handle on and you can shake it back and forth. And the two shaker grates are connected with these gears, so they both rotate opposite each other at the same time. Alright, the engine's put away once again for bed. The stove is shoved off in the corner.
Except,
And, well, actually it's not the corner at all, it's the dead middle of the shop, but whatever. D, Frank, and Amber are on their way off. I'm gonna head inside, and we'll be seeing you guys next week.
see you later.
See you later. Thanks for watching, and thumbs up, all that stuff. Not the thumbs down, just the thumbs up. That's what we like. And stay tuned for more.